This is Lollipop, and with her help, and the 4 others of course, I'm going to take a look at those pet treat dispensers with cameras and see if they are actually worth the money and which ones are any good. You like them, don't you? She likes them a lot. Percy, I'll miss you. Bye, nudes. Where are you? There you are. My job normally takes me away from home a fair amount of time each year. Well, perhaps not this year, but most years it's a fair amount of time. I could be filming in any part of the world. It could just be in England for a few days, but I could be in America or Africa, who knows. You know, it can be for a few weeks at a time. Not that I really love doing the long jobs because I do get very homesick, and of course I miss my cats enormously, who are being looked after really well by my next door neighbour or other friends or family, because if I didn't have that, of course I wouldn't go and I wouldn't want to go. I need to make sure that they're looked after. The best part for me is coming home. It's just the most wonderful thing to see them. They're always excited to see me. Noodle! Where's the boys? Boys! Hello, Bert. Hi, Perth. Hey! Missed you both. About 10 years ago, I got my first Wi-Fi cameras. I had them in a few rooms, and whilst I was away, I could go onto the app and see what they're up to, which is pretty much basically sleeping, because that's pretty much what cats do all day. And it was nice, of course. It was nice to check up on them and see they're okay, but it wanted something a little bit more. And then 3 years ago, I read about pet treat dispensers with cameras built into them. So essentially like the cameras that I had, but I could interact with them. That sounded brilliant. And so of course, I bought one, and I bought the Petzi. I absolutely loved the Petzi when I first got it. To be able to interact with my cats was so wonderful. I had a camera that they would actually walk up to. And almost without fail, Bertie and Percy would come when they heard the loud chime. Noodle sometimes popped over, but as she was already 17 years old when I got it, she mostly just slept. The twins still love it, but it's Lollipop who loves it the most. The treat compartment is reasonably sized, not the biggest you can get, but also far from the smallest. I tend to put Thrive treats in there, as they are the favourites of most of the cats. Treats! They're freeze-dried fish, chicken, shrimp, and some other flavours. And I've been buying them since about 2006, when my little Siamese boy Arnie, who died very young, was obsessed with them. And the twins are the same, even after all these years. The downside to the Thrive treats is they are expensive, and they are very flaky, so they fall apart easily, especially when being ejected with some force by the machine. And unlike other machines, you cannot change the strength of the flinging. I did think with all the crumbling, the machine might gunk up, but I've never had any issues. The camera quality is terrible. The viewing angle isn't that wide. The image is super compressed, frequently pixelated, feels like you're watching a Lego movie at times. It looks terrible no matter how much light is in the room. This is not a low light camera. God, it sounds like I'm doing one of my normal camera reviews from my other channel. You actually get a better looking image in night vision mode. The app is very basic, well, let's call it functional. You can take photos of very poor quality, but no videos. I use the screen capture mode of my iPhone to save video like this.
Petzi!
There is a microphone so you can talk to your cats or dogs. It's not two-way, so they can hear you, but you cannot hear them. It's also rather slow, both with the video lag and the amount of time it takes to dispense the treats. But that's not really a big deal. I'm in no rush when I'm using it. It's also been really quite reliable. Only a few times have I had any issues connecting. Because the Petzi can't hold that many treats, on some of my trips, the ones which were lasting maybe 10 days or longer, I was running out. Now, you don't know that it's run out, the app doesn't tell you. The way you know is you start it up, the cats come running, get all excited, and you try to send them a treat and nothing comes out. And you're met with incredibly sad looking faces. So I needed to get a second machine. Yes, I know, ridiculous, isn't it? So I got the Petcube Bites. I don't have that anymore. I have the Petcube Bites 2. When the Petcube Play came out, I got that. That's just a camera with a laser built into it so they can play with it. There's no treats from that. But none of my cats have ever been that interested in it. But the image quality was really good, so when they announced their treat dispensing version, the Bites, I snapped it up. The Bites and the Bites 2 are very similar machines. The main differences are the Bites 2 has a wider lens, 160 degrees, up from 138 degrees on the first machine. The Petzi is just 120 degrees. Having a lens as wide as 160 degrees is terrific. You really can see so much. The original Petcube Bites and the Petzi only work on a 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi signal. The Bites 2 works on both 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz. It also has Alexa built into it. Now, lots of devices can be used with Alexa these days, but this actually is a full-blown Amazon Echo device. But when you think about it, that means you're in the room with it and you are being incredibly lazy. Using these machines when you're away from home is one thing. Lazing on the sofa watching TV and just using the voice command to chuck a treat at the cats, that's like crazy lazy. The treat compartment is huge, which is a part of the reason the machine is so big. It can take a massive amount of treats. Now, the size of the treats that the different machines out there can take varies. As most are designed for cats and dogs, you can use relatively large treats with it. The downside to this ability is when you use cat treats like Dreamies, and most cat treats tend to be quite small, it dispenses far too many in one go for my liking. I'd much rather just chuck out a couple at a time. You have no ability to change this. Unlike the Petzi, there is 3 different strengths to the flinging action, but you cannot angle it, just the strength. The app is nice and easy to use. You can capture photos and videos. There's a 2-way microphone, so you can talk to them. Again, don't do it. But you can also hear them. This is probably more useful for dogs and cats, I would say. The Petcube Bites and the Bites 2 don't really like the Thrive treats. It does work, as you can see, it just keeps getting stuck. If it took them, I wouldn't need a second machine, but because it can't take the Thrive treats, I have to have the Petzi. The best feature of the Bites and Bites 2 is it can send you notifications when it sees movement or hears certain sounds. If you pay for the Petcube Care plan, it will also save these clips onto the cloud. The basic plan costs $50 a year and is per Petcube camera, and it keeps 3 days of your clips. The premium plan costs double that. It covers any Petcube camera you have in your account, and it saves 90 days worth of your clips. For me, that's a lot of clips. So it can sort of act as a security camera for capturing videos of the legs of any burglars. Obviously, it's Lollipop who gets the most excited by these machines. Not that she actually wants to eat them all, she just wants to play with them. Jimmy the Greek really loves the Thrive treats, but normally likes to kick them around a few times first. The twins can't have that many these days. They both have gastrointestinal issues, and Bertie is definitely worse than Percy. Anything more than a couple of the fish treats will make him vomit. So when he gets them, they really are treats, because they are very rare. And that's why I think he found the filming particularly hard, because I was firing so many treats out into the kitchen, but had to keep scooping them up before he got to them. Harriet is not interested at all in treats. She is the fussiest cat I have ever come across. And considering I found her on a beach in Greece, so she's a stray cat who was used to finding her own food, you'd think she wouldn't be this fussy. She certainly wasn't fussy when I first met her. Now she just eats dry food, she's not interested in wet food at all, and she is on a diet, so she has put on weight, so she gets a specific amount of special diet food. Harriet's treat is a few biscuits up on the countertop, which are just some dry food that she doesn't normally have, and that makes her very happy. I picked this up from Amazon, and it seems to tick all the boxes. I just wanted to have something newer to show you in this video. I have not tried it yet. This strange thing is Varam. This is a pet treat dispenser that moves. So it's a toy that you can interact with them as well as give them treats. They don't care about it in the slightest, not even Lollipop. And this is Our Robot, which looks very similar to the Varam, bigger brother. And I bought this yesterday for this video, and I haven't used it either. So let's see what this is like. See if this was a complete waste of money. So just put it temporarily where the Petzi was. Bit of a mixture. Lollipop, there's a new machine. Lollipop, come and see the new machine. It seemed to work pretty well, wasn't too hard to set up. The treat capacity is pretty good. The treats come out fine, not too aggressively. It's got a nice big wide angle. The video quality isn't fantastic, but it's way better than the Petzi. And it has night vision, so it ticks all the boxes. For a budget option, this actually seems pretty good. So Lollipop's more interested in the camera right now than the Our Robot, but let's see if we can change that by getting it moving. And there's Harriet! Yay! Where have you been? Where have you been? Missed you. Missed you. Daft cat. Well, if that's not going to make you sick. As soon as I started up and moved it around, it's just like Varam, and just like Varam, they wanted nothing to do with it. Even though it had treats to give Lollipop, she wasn't having any of it. I mean, I can't see why. I think they're scared of it because the way that it moves is just too fast and too aggressive. If you could just slow it down, maybe, just maybe they might use it. But even if they fix that, it's still really quite creepy. Sorry, Our Robot. So if you're looking to get your cat or dog a Wi-Fi camera pet treat dispenser, they really could do with a nice unifying name for that. A reminder of the key things to look for, because there's so many different ones out there, and I've only scratched the surface. A good-sized treat compartment is a must. The camera must have a really good wide-angle lens, or you simply won't see enough of your furball when they come up to the camera. Look for 140 degrees or more. The position of the camera is key too when thinking about where you're going to put it. You can see the Petcube Bites 2 has to be mounted on the wall higher up, as the camera is way too low to be placed on the ground. The camera also must have a night vision mode, as I'm sure, like me, you don't leave all the lights on in your house when you aren't home. Every camera you'll find in one of these devices will not be able to cope with anything other than good light. Trust me on this. May be obvious, but do check to see if you could actually use them remotely and not just on your own Wi-Fi, because that would make them really rather pointless. And if you want to take things to the next level, there's the pet chats. Am I tempted? Maybe. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video and found it useful and entertaining. Do check out the other videos on this channel, especially the ones about the cats themselves, as well as the other reviews. Although right now there's not that many, but if you're watching this in the future, there could be loads for you to look at. Thing is, I just need to make them. What shall I do next? Catio? Microchip feeders? Toys?